What's up guys, this is RhinoRatesMusic back here for another video, another year-end ranking list. So a few days ago or last week, I went and ranked the top 20 worst songs of 2021 and the top 50 best songs of 2021. So without any more delay, I'm going to be getting into my top 50 favorite albums or the top 50 best albums of 2021. So once again, in case you guys are new here, on this channel, we focus on music-related content from lists, rankings, discussions, reviews, all that kind of fun jazz. So if you're new here, welcome. Or if you come from my TikTok page, welcome once again. I make short-based music videos on my TikTok and, of course, some more comedy-related videos. So if you're not from TikTok and you're interested in that, check that out. But for now, let's get on to this list. So 2021 was a great year for music. A lot of interesting stuff to come out, some bad stuff, but we're going to be going over some of the best albums, the albums that I had the most fun with, the albums that were the most memorable, connected with me the most, the best quality albums of this year. So once again, this is just my opinion, so if you guys don't agree, that's fine, or if there's an album that you guys liked that I missed, let me know down in the comments below. But without further delay, let's get the list started. So kicking off the list at the number 50 spot, we have possibly the best album from Marina Diamandis and her first album under the new title, just Marina, Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. It has a chunk of dance pop bangers filled with politically and socially driven lyrics and also some more personal lyrics. At the number 49 spot, we have one of the biggest and best coming of age teenage albums of this year. We have Olivia Rodrigo with Sour. Say what you want about this album. This album is chock full of bangers, and I just love the attitude of this album. At the number 48 spot, we have one of the most fun trap albums of this year, Baby Keem with The Melodic Blue, an album that really showcases a lot of potential and shows Baby Keem going into a right direction. At the number 47 spot, we have Adele with 30, easily one of her most dark, depressing, and most personal and vulnerable albums ever made, but still ends up being so beautiful. At the number 46 spot, we have Bad Bad Not Good, shifting over to more original songwriting material on the album Talk Memory. But despite its flaws, still has some amazing compositions, some amazing chords, amazing jazzy notes, and steps away from the more hip-hop direction, but really sets a promising future for the band. At the number 45 spot, we have Summer Walker with Still Over It, and just like the predecessor, it is chock full of R&B, pop, dance, and hip-hop type bangers, but it's probably even better. At the number 44 spot, it's one of the most underrated hip-hop albums of this year, Vince Staples with his self-titled album. At the number 43 spot, we have Remy Wolf with Juno. At the number 42 spot, we have another fairly underrated hip-hop album this year, Boldy James and The Alchemist teaming up for Bo Jackson. I think the production from The Alchemist here works so well. His chemistry with Boldy James is really great too. Boldy James has some great performances and some great lyrics as well. At the number 41 spot, we have this new Sweet Trip album, their first album in 12 years, and possibly their best album since Velocity. I'm talking about Tiny Houses, and you know the rest. Yeah, sure, this album's not the most consistent, but it still contains some of the band's best moments in a long time. A long time. Despite their small catalog, they're still showing that they're creating some great music still to this day. At the number 40 spot, we have one of the most fun, but also kind of personal and out there rock albums of this year. I'm talking about Viagra Boys with Welfare Jazz. Sure, it may not have any jazz in it like the title says. It's still a great album and definitely worth a listen. At the number 39 spot, we have Cassandra Jenkins with another very underrated album this year, An Overview of Phenomenal Nature, which really showcases this songwriter's knack for songwriting, poetry, and just connecting herself with nature and using some of those elements sonically, stylistically, and lyrically, and it all pans out so well. At the number 38 spot, we have Nick Cave and Warren Ellis teaming up for Carnage. At the number 37 spot, we have Parcels with their beautiful one double-sided Day and Night. At the number 36 spot, we have Slow Tie with one of his most personal albums, but also still consisting of a chock full of bangers. And kind of like the Parcels album, also double-sided, we have Tyron. At the number 35 spot, we have Medal Mokhtar with Afrique Victime, a great blend between Saharan rock and desert blues. The performances here are spectacular, the chemistry is spectacular, the vocals are also great too. I love it. At the number 34 spot, we have West Side Gun with Hitler Wears Hermes 8, both side A and side B, as I feel like both these are very important to the context of this series. And even though I like side B a little bit more, side A definitely still has a lot of tracks worth mentioning. And like I said, plays an important part in this context and storyline. At the number 33 spot, we have A$AP Rock and Blockhead teaming up again for their amazing and conceptual Garbology. At the number 32 spot, we have Pink Sifu with his amazing and low-key, but also fun and cohesive and southern rap tribute, Gumbo. At the number 31 spot, we have Backwash returning for I Lie Here, Buried With My Rings and My Dresses, which, once again, Backwash just really bringing the metal and the gothic punk into rap like no other artist has, and also doing it so conceptually and with lyrics about depression and lack of acceptance and bigotry towards different communities, especially the LGBTQIA plus community, which Backwash, as a transgender woman, does a great job of bringing here, and also brings them out very harshly, very aggressively, very apathetically, and it's just amazing. At the number 30 spot, we have Billie Eilish with her sophomore album, Happier Than Ever. Sure, it may not be as conceptual as her debut album. I would argue that it has some more mature songwriting, some great production from Phineas once again, and diving in on more genres, and I greatly appreciate that about the album. At the number 29 spot, we have Lucy Dacus with Home Video, easily one of the best indie albums I've ever heard this year, and Lucy Dacus, along with the rest of Boy Genius, is really coming out with some of the best music in indie. At the number 28 spot, we have one of the most controversial albums this year, Kanye West with Donda. Yes, despite this album's flaws, and as much as there are a few forgettable tracks, there are also so many gems on this album that cannot be ignored. And I watched a video by Rough Criminal, and yeah, the way Kanye rolled out this album with the stem player, it appears that he used it so that you could sequence this album and put this album together however you want and take out stuff like the bass or the melody or the lyrics or the vocals and do whatever you want to it to make your own version of Donda, because he's given us all these tracks and we can make our own of it. And that is a really incredible idea, and it's made me respect this album even more, because while yes, not every song here is great and there are some forgettable moments, the way it was rolled out is easily one of the most unique and controversial rollouts of all time. And like I said, there are still some amazing songs here and some of Kanye's best songs in a long time. At the number 27 spot, we have another artist releasing one of their best albums in a long time, Nas with King's Disease 2. Him and Hit Boy hit it up again with this amazing and conceptual album, some great features, some great production, great lyrics from Nas, just everything you could want out of a classic but also with a new school type Nas album. At the number 26 spot, we have More Mother and Billy Woods with Brass. Yes, even though this album came out last year in Christmas 2020, because I stopped counting music on December 18th, I decided to put this here. And sure, a lot of people were talking about Whole Lot of Red that came out this day, but to me, the album that stuck out to me the most that came out that day was Brass. At the number 25 spot, we have Sufjan Stevens and Angelo DiAugustine with A Beginner's Mind. Can we have these two make another album again? Because these two somehow bring out the best in each other. Sufjan Stevens coming out with some of his best songs in a long time and sounding just like the Michigan and Illinois days, but at the same time giving it a bit more of a modern flair and combining it with the idea of movie and cinematic inspirations, and it comes across sounding cinematic but also simple, luscious and gorgeous. At the number 24 spot, we have Wiki with Half God, this great blend between New York East Coast hip-hop, jazz rap and abstract rap is something that has been a bit overlooked this year, but you definitely should give a chance if you haven't yet, because this guy, he's got a lot to offer, really. At the number 23 spot, we have Spelling with The Turning Wheel. Just the songwriting here is great, the production is fantastic, the album flows smoothly, the vocals might be a bit much, but still I can't deny the impact and the greatness of this album. At the number 22 spot, we have Converge and Chelsea Wolfe teaming up for Blood Moon 1. Easily the best metal album to come out this year. This blend between metalcore and gothic punk goes down a lot better than I could have imagined, and it results in some amazing songs. At the number 21 spot, we have High S Coyote with Mood Valiant. Now, I don't care that we had to wait 6 years for this album to come out. If we can wait another 6 years for music this good, or maybe slightly better, then it's worth it, because this album was amazing. At the number 20 spot, we have Dijon with Absolutely, an album that I wasn't really a huge fan of when I first listened to it, but when I went back to this album over and over again, I can really hear the Frank Ocean effect, the Frank Ocean inspiration, as this blend of bedroom indie and alternative R&B is really given out this effect that Frank Ocean is paving the way for a lot of these artists. And in terms of all these DIY / bedroom style albums, this one, from its live performances and compositions to its vocals and some of its lyrics, is probably one of the best, and definitely an album that you should check out if you haven't yet. At the number 19 spot, we have St. Vincent with Daddy's Home. This great blend between progressive rock, Americana, and country and folk is resulting in banger after banger after banger here, and very personal as St. Vincent dives into stories about her relationships and her father still in prison. Just great album overall. At the number 18 spot, we have this beautiful blend of country and soul with Yola's Stand For Myself. At the number 17 spot, we have one of the most upbeat and happiest albums of the year. In a weird year, we have Porter Robinson with Nurture. At the number 16 spot, we have the debut album from one of the most promising rock bands of our time, Black Country New Road, with For the First Time. From its chaos to its atmosphere, and the vocals, Isaac Wood, one of the most interesting and cryptic vocalists of our time, really. But yeah, this album's fantastic, and I can't wait to see what Black Country New Road do in the future. At the number 15 spot, we have James Blake with Friends That Break Your Heart. This, from its heartbreaking songwriting, tragic flow, amazing production, great features, especially a great verse from JID, is one of James Blake's best albums. No joke. Taking out number 14 spot, we have Brockhampton with Roadrunner. This album shows that Brockhampton can still come out with hard-hitting and gratifying bangers, while still some very, very personal and deep, dark lyrics on this album, especially from Joba and Kevin Abstract with their past and their difficult relationships and the loss of Joba's father. Just a lot of tragedies here, a lot of tragic, dark lyrics, but also some very uplifting and aggressive bangers here, just like you would expect on the Saturation trilogy. Yeah, it's great. Give it a listen. At the number 13 spot, we have Magdalena Bay with Mercurial World, an album that really surprised me, because yes, even though synth pop, 80s style synth pop has been very popular when it comes to being revived, Magdalena Bay does it in a way that makes it sound both nostalgic and futuristic at the same time, and even the songwriting here is fantastic. So yeah, fuck yeah, Magdalena Bay. At the number 12 spot, we have another DIY style album. We have Delete Zeke with Frailty. Describing what's going on in this album with some of the words is difficult, because some of these songs, some of the production is otherworldly. And I know the vocals on here have been a bit quiet, but me personally, given the nature of this album, the instrumental transitions, it kind of makes sense to have more robotic style vocals, as more natural vocals just wouldn't suit some of these more otherworldly type productions and transitions and musical movements, and just so much going on in this album. I can't explain it. Just give it a listen. At the number 11 spot, we have Silk Sonic with An Evening with Silk Sonic, an album that needs no explanation, just Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak coming together, providing some great chemistry, bringing out the best in each other, and Anderson .Paak especially bringing out a side of Bruno Mars that I didn't think was possible, and resulting in some amazing, fun, throwback, nostalgic, funk, soul, R&B bangers. Okay, at the number 10 spot, so coming into the top 10, at the number 10 spot, we have Low with Hey Watts. This blend between ambient, noise, post-rock, gospel is just absolutely amazing. Distorting, but incredible and beautiful. Ugly, but beautiful, and very, very synthetic, but in a great way. And the vocals here are just absolutely beautiful, and even after all these years, Low can still make great music and still have great, very harmonic vocals here. And it just depends how you perceive this album, because there's a lot of ways you can perceive it, and that's what makes it so great. At the number 9 spot, we have Tyler, the Creator, with Call Me If You Get Lost. Just this album, not only does it have Tyler returning to his style of rapping and returning to the Wolf era, but he's doing this, but adding the maturity and knowledge that he has gained as a producer and as a songwriter and as an artist here, and as a as a concept creator, and well, an artist overall, just the maturity he's gained all these years, and combining that into this formula, and it works so well. A lot of bangers here, great production, and also a great sediment. And while, yes, maybe the narrative's not as interesting as that at Igor, I definitely think it's pulled off a little bit better here. Yeah, can't really say much bad things about this album. It's really, really good. At the number 8 spot, we have Arca with Kick 2, Kick 3, Kick 4, and Kick 5. All these albums, while yes, there are some I like more than others, I couldn't rank just one of them here because I think all of them tie in well with this Kick series that Arca was going for and ended off very quickly, but did it so well. And if you liked Kick 1, some of the more elements of deconstructed club and experimental and art pop and avant-garde, well, these albums kind of add on that. You got Kick 2, which is more reggaeton, Kick 3, which is very experimental, grimy, and deconstructed club, and is my favorite of the 4. Kick 4, which is a bit more xenopop, a little more techno-oriented, and Kick 5, which is more ambient, but absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I really love what Arca did. I greatly respect what Arca did here, and I can't wait to see what her future holds. At the number 7 spot, we have probably one of, if not the best rock album to come out this year. We have Black Midi with Cavalcade, and this album just 8 tracks here, but all 8 of them are just all killer, no filler, just amazing blends. Post-rock, math rock, progressive rock, jazz rock, avant-garde, everything here. From the absolutely amazing progressive and avant-garde inspired John L. to the jazz rock infused slow and the beautiful closing Ascending Forth. Everyone loves Ascending Forth for a reason. At the number 6 spot, we have an album that I did not expect to love this much, but I do. We have Genesis Owusu with Smiling with No Teeth, and this guy, even so early in his career, such a young age, for his debut album, is going ambitious as hell. Just doesn't really want to be tampered down to just one genre. He's doing hip-hop, he's doing rock, he's doing funk, he's doing neo-soul, he's doing psychedelia, he's doing so many things on this album that cannot be narrowed down to one word, and it flows really great as well. The narrative is great, and the songwriting is great too. And Genesis Owusu is a fucking performer. I know, I've seen him live, but give this album a listen, please. At the number 5 spot, we have Lingua Ignota with Sinner Get Ready. Yes, this might be my second favorite 10 out of 10 Anthony Fantano has given. It's not my favorite album of the year, but it is certainly does not mean that it's bad. This album is dark but beautiful at the same time, mesmerizing. It's from the instrumentals to the more softer vibe. Lingua Ignota's gone on here, less of a harder, more metal kind of sound with Caligula, but for the better, because she's gone with a more darker and more cohesive religious theme on this album that ends up playing out so well. And Lingua Ignota's vocals just sound absolutely amazing. Her performances as well are incredible and very, very heartfelt and very dark. I can't really say much about this album because this album gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it because it's kind of scary, and you'll see what I mean if you listen to it. Taking out number 4 spot, we have JPEG Mafia, the man himself, returning with LP. So I knew once I heard both these 2 EPs, I knew we were up for a great project from JPEG Mafia, and we certainly were. Now on this, I'm going to be more talking about the offline version, as the online version has a little bit less tracks here, and the offline version gives you some of the better moments like Hazard Duty Pay, which is easily one of the best JPEG Mafia songs here, but other moments on this album, songs like Trust, songs like Nemo, songs like Rebound are absolutely amazing and just hit so fucking hard, and just shows JPEG Mafia is continuing to just continue evolving as one of the most left field and most adventurous and exuberant hip-hop artists of our time, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Taking out number 3 spot, we have easily one of the most conceptual, thematic, and empathetic albums or hip-hop albums I've ever heard. We've got Little Sims with Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. Now, I don't really have a complaint with this album. This album is just absolutely amazing. The rapping is great. The songwriting is great. This album flows terrifically. It's cohesive. The production is absolutely amazing. And just, yeah, Little Sims is really, really maturing more and more after every album. And it seems like she's really, as she's stepping into this territory, she's starting to get more popularity, which is great because she deserves it. And I think she's only going to get bigger and better. And I can't wait to see where she goes from here. At the number 2 spot, we have an album that I didn't think was going to stay up this high for most of the year, but it did. We have Pharoah Sanders, Floating Points, and the London Symphony Orchestra with Promises, which this album just great blend between progressive jazz and spiritual jazz. It's just absolutely beautiful. Just close your eyes and listen to this album from front to back. No, don't even notice the movements change, because this whole album, this whole piece is just a bunch of different movements building up from these beautiful chords and keys. It's just, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's wonderful. And the fact that Pharoah Sanders at age 80 is still making great music like this and combining it with a few elements of electronic music from Floating Points, and then of course London Symphony Orchestra's great contribution. Just, it's uncanny and it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. Now, we have reached the number one spot. Yes, the number one spot. My number one favorite album of this year, of 2021, which, if you guys follow my TikTok, maybe you might know what this is. But at the number one spot, we have Injury Reserve with By the Time I Get to Phoenix. Now, where do I start with this album? This album is, not only is it an amazing tribute, an amazing way to send off the late, great Steffo J. Groggs, but this album, on the way, also, I think, provides something that could be seen as the future of hip-hop. This blend between industrial hip-hop, experimental hip-hop, rock, jazz, progressive, psychedelia, neo-soul, just almost a lot of genres. Like, any genre you can name from this album list, any genre you can name that's had some sort of prominence within the past 2 years is in this album at some point. And as well as that, the songwriting is just terrific. It's dystopic, it's tragic, it's depressing. The performances from both Jay Groggs and Richie with a T are absolutely amazing. Nathaniel's production here is incredible on songs like Outside and Knees, and just, I can't say anything negative about this album. Some people are calling this sound post-rap, which I guess is like something different that we've heard, a mix between post-rock and hip-hop, but whatever it is, I'm all in for it. I'm all in for a future of hip-hop, or a future of more left-field type hip-hop sounding like this, because this album kind of like takes away all the standard norms of hip-hop and makes it their own, because this is what Injury Reserve are. This is them, and that's why this is a great way to send off and for Jay Groggs and finally rest in peace. And I don't know where Injury Reserve are going to go in the future, if they're going to continue this without Groggs or if they're going to replace him. I don't know, but still, even if they do decide to stop making music, this album was a great send-off and is my pick for my favorite album of this year. Well, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this list of my top 50 favorite albums, or the top 50 best albums of 2021. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to check out my TikTok page if you haven't. And tell me what was your favorite album this year. What was your favorite albums among this list? What albums did I forget to include? Let me know. But until then, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. This is RhinoRatesMusic signing out. Bye-bye.